Good morning. How to make sourdough starter with unbleached all-purpose flour, or how to make sourdough starter with all-purpose unbleached flour. Today is day 3 for us making our own sourdough starter. So we have our sourdough that we have been rising there or feeding every day, and today is day 3. So let's take a look at it. It doubled in size by day 3, and I don't know if that's the norm, but let's continue feeding it. I have a target of 14 days that it should rise and double in size by 14 days. But today is day 3 and it's already double. But I cooked yesterday in the evening, so it was kind of warm around here, and having a towel around it, I don't know if that helped. But let's take our sourdough starter. You can see there is bubbles, gas forming, and you can see I didn't close it tightly either. And you can see inside of it. So let's take it to our counter and just feed it like the way we have been feeding it. So day 3 of making sourdough starter using unbleached all-purpose flour. So we are going to need a spoon and probably a table knife to scrape the top of the flour. So how do you feed your sourdough starter? You take 1 cup, measurement cup, you stir. I don't know if you can hear it. It does have a lot of gas in it. You stir your sourdough starter to mix it together. And you can see when I mix it, you can see where it is. It has so many gases in it. I can smell it. I can smell fermentation here. So you can see where it is, and you can see where it was before. So that's why it's good to start with a clean jar. That way, if there is rising going on, you'll be able to see it as well. So now that we started, we are going to transfer half of the sourdough starter to the new clean jar that we have. And it's not about being perfect, so just be close. And the reason why we are working with half cup is so that we do not use a lot of flour. If you want to feed all of this, you are going to use a lot of flour, because to half cup of starter, you are going to use 1 cup of flour. So for every half cup of starter, you will use 1 cup of flour to feed it every 24 hours. So if you want to feed more than that, you just need to double the recipe. So we take our clean jar and we transfer our half cup of starter to it. You are just trying to raise some organism in your flour, and you want to feed it constantly until they grow, multiply enough to be enough in it. That will help you use that to ferment your dough to bake pizza and bread. So now that we have our half cup of starter, you will use half cup of water. So let's add the water before we add 1 cup of flour in it. When you add the water, it's easier to mix it than if you add the flour first. It'll be hard to get the flour from the bottom mixed in. What kind of water can you use to make your sourdough starter? If you can drink your tap water, you can use it. What temperature of water should you use? Cold water, boiled water, warm water, hot water? Room temperature water will be fine. So that is on the warm side, but it has not been used for hours. So if I turn it on, it's not going to be hot. Cold is that way. Usually I will just put it somewhere like this and scoop it, but at this point it's not going to matter. The water is going to be on the cold side because it has not been used for hours. And this morning is 4:52 in the morning when I'm doing this right now. So we are going to pour our half cup of water, tap water, in it. So we are making sourdough starter using unbleached all-purpose flour and tap water. So to our half cup sourdough starter, we added half cup of tap water, room temperature tap water to it. Now we are going to add 1 cup of all-purpose unbleached flour to it. Having the flour in this, if you bake a lot, it'll be good to get a container that you can use. And this container you can, if you go to a grocery store and the bakery section, you can ask them if they have icing container that you can get. A lot of times they bake in the morning at the grocery store and they get rid of it. So sometimes they might tell you when you can get it. And you can ask if they can reserve one for you. You'll stop by in the morning to pick it up. Usually by 6 they will get rid of it, at least in our area. So I had to, in the past, to look for it. I'll call around 6 a.m. exactly around 6 a.m. or just a few minutes before and ask if they have an icing bucket I can stop by to pick, and they will say yes. Some store will tell you that for safety reason, for food safety reason, they are not allowed to give it away. Some store will give it to you, but you only find out when you ask. So, and then when you bring it home, you wash it properly in your, you wash it properly, and then you let it dry, and you can use it for your flour. Because that's food container, you'll be able to use it for your food. And then you can just, when you open your flour, 5-pound bag flour, you can just dump it in it and close it. That way you won't have flour, falling in the bag or falling on your shelf unit. So do you see the way I scoop the flour? I can just use the knife to scrape the top off. If you go horizontally, you will scrape it off. So because I have this bucket here, I'm going to use it so that I don't dump the flour on the counter. can see that I have some on my hand here. I'm just going to get it off. In fact, I can put this back there. And let's take this to the sink area so that we can shake it off there. Okay. So now that we have water, starter, and flour, we just mix it together. And it's good to do this above the table so that you do not drop it. And depending on the way it might be on the dry side for you. Frankly, I will say that's okay. Don't add more water, don't add more flour, just leave it alone. If it feels sticky, leave it alone. If you feel dry, leave it alone. Just half cup water to half cup sourdough starter and add 1 cup of flour and stir it well. And what type of flour can you use to make sourdough starter? You can use whole wheat flour. You can use all-purpose unbleached flour. You can use all-purpose bleached flour. Pick one. I never done it before using all 3 at the same time. That's the 3rd time I'm making sourdough starter. And all 3 times I have used different type of flour. The first time in 2015 I used whole wheat flour, and I found the recipe on King Arthur website. But after I was done with the starter was done, I know that I don't use whole wheat flour to cook. Therefore, I'm not going to keep using whole wheat flour to feed the culture. I switched to King Arthur's unbleached flour for a while, and then I noticed that Walmart has their own brand all-purpose unbleached flour. So I start buying Walmart brand all-purpose unbleached flour, and that's what I use to feed my sourdough starter that I made with whole wheat. So I'll feed it with all-purpose unbleached flour, and then I will use the discard to bake pizza and to bake bread. In 2020, I tried to see if we'll be able to make sourdough starter with bleached flour, all-purpose flour, and it worked. I used bleached all-purpose flour to make sourdough starter in 2020, because in 2020 we didn't have the store was often out of all-purpose unbleached flour. Therefore, I purchased bleached flour to have in stock to bake pizza and to bake bread. And I use that to feed my existing sourdough starter that I have. Since 2015, I fed it with bleached all-purpose flour. In 2020, in 2021. In 2022, in case I didn't say, yeah, I make another sourdough starter in 2020 using all-purpose bleached flour. It worked. And then when it was done, it doubled in size. I used the discard to bake, and then that half cup that I fed, I mix it with my 2015 sourdough starter that I have. So I mix both so that I don't have to feed 2 type of starter in, and so I mix them together. So 2022, November 2022, and I start this one November 27, 2022, and today is day 3, November 29, 2022. So I start this one with all-purpose unbleached flour. So I have used all 3 types of flour. If you want to use any one of them, it is good to just pick one to go through the the process and get your starter ready. And after that, you can switch to the flour you want to use in your cooking. You just use it to feed it. Just make sure it's a wheat flour. That's what I have experience with, so that's what I'm going to speak about. So now we have our starter here that we fed. I just like to push it well, scrape the edges and push it well so that it is down. And at this point we can see where it is. So this is 1 cup and this is 1.5 cups. So it's between the two. So that's just how, that's why I like the glass jar, because I can see the measurement. And then when I left it after 24 hours, we'll take a look at it again. So now let's take a clean lid. I think this one is a clean one. And that's all I'm going to do to it. I'm not going to close it tightly. So we are going to take our sourdough starter that we fed, and we are going to store it on our counter. So how do you store sourdough starter on your counter? Just put it somewhere that people are not going to move it around. And you just, that's why I like to put it far back on the counter. You know, that's an area that we use. We put our drinking cup. Everybody has their own cup. This not included. But everybody has their own cup to drink. So that's why I had to say that we use this counter, you know, for drinking cup. But I like to put my sourdough starter far back where, you know, we are not going to move it out of the way to have space. So that's how you store your sourdough starter on your counter. Put it on the counter far back where people are not going to be moving it around to have space. And use a towel to cover it to keep sunlight off of it. And that keeps flies off of it as well. You do not want flies to get inside, since we didn't close it tightly. Is it fly? Probably not. Okay, so, and we are just going to let it rest there for 24 hours. And we feed it again, right? I'm very surprised that day 3, our starter rose. So what do you do with sourdough discard or sourdough starter discard? At this stage, we are going to dump it. I'm tempted though, since it rose day 3, I'm tempted of using this to mix with a dough, a dough, to see if that is going to ferment the dough. But I'm not going to do that. So until our sourdough started double in sizes, we are just going to continue dumping the discard, because I'm just assuming it does not have enough of the culture I'm trying to encourage. It does not have enough to rise a dough for me. Therefore, I don't know what kind of organisms are in it. I'm not going to use it. But if you keep doubling in sizes, then I know it's ready. When your sourdough starter double in size, you know it's ready to ferment your dough for you. That's when you use that discard to actually ferment a dough to bake pizza or bread. But at this point, I don't know if we are there yet, but I'm surprised that it is working. It is working. So because the culture we are encouraging is what going to rise the mixture. So if the mixture rose, that means our cultures are alive in it. Our tap water is not bothering it, and it's working great. So I just like to get a bag like this, and I'll dump this in it, or wrap it, and then put it in the trash. And then I will clean up all of those. Thank you so much for watching. Well, when you have your own sourdough starter, you can bake your own sourdough pizza, you can bake your own sourdough bread, and the leftover sourdough bread, you can use it to make sourdough crouton. And it saves you money because you don't have to buy those things if you don't want to. And the money you save for not buying pizza crust or not buying pizza from the store, you use that money to buy other things that you need to buy. That, you know, and the price is increasing for almost anything at the store, or for a lot of things. So you'll find a lot of your grocery items that increase in price. So by saving few dollars here and there on some grocery items that you can just make from scratch yourself, you will be able to keep your grocery budget the same by, you know, using that saving to buy other things that you usually buy that you found the price increase. So yeah, that's one way you can keep your grocery purchases low, or, you know, not increasing your grocery budget if you don't want to, so that you can save your money. You are working hard, you want to save your money so that you can use that money to invest, to generate streams of income where you do not trade your time for money. On our YouTube channel and our blog, we share different ways you can save money and different ways you can make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on your income from your job to provide for your basic need. So thank you so much for your time. We thank you all that subscribe to our channel. We thank you for all your comments, and we thank you so much for watching our videos. Thank you for your time.